Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Welcome. Greetings, farmers, as Lugubrum would say. This is the.
Yes.
Sorry.
Today, my name is Brown Filth.
Good evening, Brownfield.
Good evening, Whitehill.
This has been a while in the making. This is the Lugubrum episode, if you will. We have been listening on and off, I think more on than off, for about 2 weeks now. You'll even faked an evening with his wife to have an extra day of this. Yeah, so it's Lugubrum. When we said we were going to do it, I just blurted out, not knowing or not thinking about the fact that they have 13
shitload of music, yes.
they have 13 full lengths, a couple a demo, a promo tape, a couple of splits, I think 4 or 5, and a live record. So it was a daunting task to cram it all in 2 weeks. I think we deserved getting some extra or putting on some extra time. Yeah, let's start the daunting task, I guess. We kind of are going to do it in 3 parts, maybe.
Yeah.
Break up the discography in 3 parts. First part, if you want to call it that, is the pure black metal or the more Lugubrum in their black metal period, which runs roughly from 94 to, I would say, 2000, 2001.
Yeah, 2000, maybe Vette Keuken, 2004.
Yeah, I put Alchemist, the Vette Keuken and Heilige Dwaze in the next.
Okay.
Well, maybe it will become clear. Nothing will become clear because I'm totally confused. But I think that's the point.
In my head, the end of the black metal Lugubrum was at Heilige Dwazen, but yeah, I discovered that it's not really the case.
I have
in my head, Heilige Dwaze came behind Albino De Congo as well. So
okay, so it was kind of.
But that's yeah.
I have that as a transfer record, Heilige Dwaze, because you can when you consider Bruine Throne still the top of their black metal period, if you will, then you have Alchemist, the Vette Keuken, and then Heilige Dwaze is a bit. It's still black metal, but you can hear him search for something. Something different than just the pure black metal. But we'll get there, I guess, when we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah, the first one is.
The first start with Winterstones. I didn't listen to the demo.
I didn't listen to the demo, but I listened to the promo because that's on the Zuivering. That's tagged onto the Zuivering. And
yeah, indeed, yeah.
I have to say that the track on there, Before My Eternal Sleep, that is one of their highlights, and it's on an early promo tape. But I love that song so much. There's nothing much to say. I think their early material, especially before '95, you are kind of running parallel to what's happening in the second wave of black metal, because that's one of the things that surprised me that they were so early. But if you're looking at 13 full lengths and another slew of releases, it's kind of logical that they have been at it for such a long time. But yeah, I think especially in the first 2 or 3, maybe the Zuivering, they have a strong influence from maybe the Norwegian scene more than any other scene. There are, of course, other influences, and it's quite clear that when you start listening, that it's not just a copy of of Norwegian sound. It's always been a bit weird. It's always been that Boersk black metal that they call it. Is it weird to say that you can hear they're from Belgium?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. Is there a Belgian style? I remember when I worked in LSP, Metal Zone, next to the Bebop Club in Vosselaar. We got we got promos from bands, And the guy, the main guy, he said once of Impedigon, which is band like from what's it 25 years ago. He said this is the typical Belgian sound.
Okay.
But it was like
I have no idea.
not really well produced melodic symphonic death metal or something like that.
That's the Belgian sound.
That he said this is the Belgian sound, and when he said it, I understood it.
Impetigum.
Impedigon.
Impedigon.
Okay. It's not something really worthwhile to look at.
No, but I'm curious too. Yeah, because I was wondering when I was listening, because do I hear it's Belgian because I know it's a Belgian band, or there's one interview with the one of the guys, I think Parditus and then Midgard. They ask them questions, and every time one says one thing, the other says the complete opposite. So it's contradicting.
Which interview was it? I remember one at Zware Metalen, which is super funny.
There are on their site there are the interviews and the reviews, and that alone is worth checking out. But I'm not sure. I think it was in English, so it's not a Dutch interview.
Okay.
I'm not completely sure where I didn't write it down. So, but yeah, it was like one says it's 100% a Belgian sound, the other one said no, I'm from Holland. So how can it be that? Ding 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 ding. Constantly ping pong. But yeah, the Winter Stones. Yeah, like I said, the demo. I listened mainly digital because I have one record. I have actually two records by them. I have managed to grab this, the Totem, which was pretty cheap to get. So I jumped on it. And then the only thing I had before that was this one, the Aalskum, the Urfaust, which is also my introduction. Urfaust introduced me to Lugubrum, I guess. That's what I was thinking. Looking back at it, I've seen him live a few times without even realizing it, I guess. And definitely at a time I wasn't ready to hear that. For example, I saw them in Ghent in 2016 when they played the Sun. Yeah, but I was talking to Peter from Alkerdeel the entire show, so I heard it and I no,
It was a special show because they had the bass player from the Ware Hond. Because what's his name? The other bass player, the guy from Paragon Impure.
Yeah, you have Svein and Noctis.
Yeah, Noctis. He couldn't make it that date or something. So, and the link with Sun is there's more because the live in Amsterdam is also the opening for Sun.
Was that
on request by from Stephen O'Malley himself? So
that was the live record is in 2000 or released in 2006. I don't know, recorded.
Yeah, earlier than that.
Earlier than that, yeah. Great live record, by the way.
Live in Amsterdam, 2006.
Yeah, 2006. Did I say 2016?
Yes.
Okay, I was wrong. 2006. Yeah, but yeah, the Belgian sound. Maybe it's because it also reminds me a lot of this.
Oh, okay. How does it remind you of that?
I don't know. Just that when you look at the artwork for this is Jan Zonder Vlees, and it's all very brownish and Belgian dirt, feasts, drinking, medieval style. So those are a few of reference points I have for visual styles. But yeah, there is something to say for that, the Belgian sound, yes, yay or nay. I'm not sure. Like we said, yeah, it's the early influences is mostly, in my ears, mostly Norwegian. Did you pick up something else, or something else?
For Winter Stones, I wrote down the band was only two persons, Bagditus and Michaert, as he was called by then. And Bagditus did drums. I didn't know that. And it has a doomy start to record, but it also has some black and roll, which isn't purely Norwegian sound from that era because it's 95. The vocals do remind me of Darkthrone, like the Darkthrone of Under a Funeral Moon and Blaze in the Northern Sky era Darkthrone. And what struck me was although the sound isn't super good and the guitars sound a bit thin and it's like the what's it called? Not reverb you put on guitars, distortion. It sounds very airy, like there's a lot of air in the distortion. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. But the production sounds very open, and that's something they have on almost all their records.
I've written it down on a different record. I'm not sure where. I'll probably see it in when we get there. But
I once was DJing in the Music City, and I put on a track from Fas Lion, Fas Oignon, Gaza or Jaffa, one of those. And someone came and asked, what is this? What is this? Said it's a really great production. And he mentioned it's very open, because sound-wise you can discuss if it's great, because none of their records sounds clean and polished.
No.
But it does sound, all instruments have their place, even on the very old ones where you hardly hear any low, you can still hear the bass.
Yeah. The thing that lasted out for me the most, or that I noticed most, is that the bass drum sound is really powerful, which is not on every per se. Like the Bruine Home is that sound you're talking about is not there per se because it's more dense in a way, and it's also a bit buried. While on Winter Stones and maybe the earlier records, it's like you say, a more open sound. But that bass drum just really hit me. You know how they managed to, because they always record in dusty basements or weird places. So it's kind of cool that they in '95 can create such a sound and give it such a production. Actually, it's also cool that it's not afraid to slow down a bit. It's not just, and that goes for a lot of their records. It's not just pure black metal. It's not just fast black metal.
No, it's not only blast beats.
Yeah, not only blast beats.
And especially Winterstone has a very doomy start.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can hear it there. They have something in them. They experiment in their own way. Not as much on the early albums as on the later ones.
No.
But the experiment, it's never done for the sake of the experiment or for the sake of being weird.
Yeah.
It always it always sounds kind of natural.
I think they are just weird, and that is what's coming out. It's not for doing weird, but you have to admit that it sounds weird, no matter how you listen. I mean, the first one you can argue that it's more of a pure black sound and that there is not much influence going on except for the doom part. But the slow parts you can compare to maybe something like a Burzum, more the atmospheric parts of that. But yeah, it becomes weird, very weird in some parts.
Yeah, especially starting from where is it? Somewhere Heilige Dwazen, I think.
Yeah, Heilige Dwazen is, in my opinion, one of the most weirder records because, like I said, they are searching for. You can feel that they're searching for something on that record, and that's why it has a lot of maybe weird tempo changes, which gives it a lot of dynamic, but kind of pulls you out of the record in some ways. And there is one track on there that The Kiss on the Anus. I don't know if you know Millionaire. Do you know that band?
Yeah, only the radio hits.
Yeah. There's one track called Champagne, and it's almost. I haven't looked up, but the fact that they put in something like that, I'm not saying they pulled a Millionaire riff, but it gives it a more poppy sound, if you will, or a more, it is opening up the sound, but because it's so weird, it is closing down stuff for people who like them in their black metal or from their black metal past. So I think
the
the fact that we both picked that record as maybe the pivoting point has to say something.
Yeah, well, I read an interview from Bardo Methodology with Midgags, who is the only member who's in Lugubrum from start to finish.
Yes.
And he said, like, yeah, my taste is constantly evolving. And I get influences from stuff I listen to and stuff I absorb. So it's normal that Lugubrum is changing as well.
Yeah.
So maybe on in the years or months before Heilige Dwazen, he was listening to, I don't know what, music with weird bass lines.
It's possible. It's very, very possible. And it's almost natural that you pull in influences and that your sound changes. But to go from, if you take the true line from, let's say, Winterstones to the last one, the Plage Chômage.
That one's very different.
Yeah, that's very, very different. But once again, we'll get there. So yeah, Winterstones is. I'm not going to say is a great record because, in my opinion, they're all great. I mean, I've been listening to them 2 weeks on and off. There are some that I like a bit less, like Heilige Dwazen, but just because of the fact that it's a harder record to get into because of the searching or the experiment.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah, I noticed it was better than I remembered Heilige Dwazen.
Yeah.
It has to sink in.
Yeah. I think a few records will need more of my attention to really develop in my head. But yeah, the fact that it took is maybe just the fact that we listened to it a lot, which is also a lot. The next one following that is Gedachte en Geheugen, which means.
Should I show them? This is the Aphelion reissue from Heilige Dwazen. I have none of their records in original, the first presses or so. Maybe records who are just only pressed later on vinyl. But like Heilige Dwazen, this one is from Aphelion and it's released.
Winterstones, you mean?
Oh, sorry, Winterstones. It has been released by Aphelion 2015, and it is the first press on vinyl, in fact.
Most of their releases are on CD, basically. The earlier material or the.
Yeah, Winterstone was on Scrama Sax Records.
Yeah, that's one of their labels, right?
I don't know if it's from them themselves. I know All Grey Hair is.
That's one of them, man. I think that's
run by Midgags, I think.
Yes.
Not sure, but.
Yeah, Winterstones were just CD only, and then at the same time they all got released, or around the same time they all got released on vinyl. It seems by the Irish or the Scottish label.
The Scottish. Yeah, not all at the same time. Like I think the Ware Hond has been released together with the Plage Chômage. So that's only last year.
In my head,
correctly, yeah.
My head, that it was around the time, I think 2016, when they did the Vooruit show with Sun. I noticed Lugubrum vinyl was all of a sudden everywhere. So that's in my mind, especially the one with Totem with the carrot.
Yeah, I wrote down, I think that Totem, no. I wrote down this is the first one on All Grey Hair, not the first one on Aphelion. Okay. The Totem was, I remember seeing them at Aurora Infernalis in Holland.
Yeah.
Arnhem or Nijmegen, I think Arnhem. It was the only time I saw them with Baritus. And I bought the Totem there. And it's also released in 2013 by, is it Aphelion?
Yes.
Yeah, 2013.
Most of the records are released, the vinyl versions are released by Aphelion.
He's catching up.
Mm-hmm.
I heard through the grapevine, he's doing the first final release of Gedachten en Geheugen as well.
Okay, that's coming then.
That's coming after the new one.
Yeah. Which they had an Instagram story update that they are on the final masters of the bruine tron, which means the brown. If the bruine tron is a toilet bowl, what's a brown crown?
The king of the farmers. I don't know.
Shitters. Since we're talking about the second one, Gedachten en Geheugen, that came out in 97.
97, yes.
I think
I really like this one.
Yeah, same.
It's very it's faster than Winterstones.
Yes.
And it's more second wave and has some dark drone sounding parts.
The vocals change a bit too. They become a bit more distant than on the Winterstones record. More of that, distant and cavernous, if you will. Maybe that's just production, but it had to be intentional because I think I could hear a difference. Otherwise, I would have written it down. It's an attacking record. I think the first half, especially, because the second half is more let's call it dungeon synth. I
think it's Gedachte will be the black metal part and Geheugen will be the thing that's how they split it up. But and about the dungeon synth part, I'm not a big fan of dungeon synth because a lot of times it sounds like people who don't know how to play music search for cool sounds on a keyboard or a synthesizer and then put some sounds together and I have something. But this is really, really musical.
If it reminds me of computer game music, I'm out. So it's like that Castlevania, stuff that everybody's doing. But the main problem with dungeon synth, in my opinion, is that it never goes heavy. It never puts a drone in or never does anything, in my opinion. I could be wrong because I haven't heard every dungeon synth release there is, but I think their way of doing it is putting drones in, is putting brass elements in, is using the keyboards or the synths in their full capacity and just going somewhere with it and adding heaviness just also to dungeon synth, which makes it a better companion to the first half of the record. Because normally when you have like black metal and dungeon synth on a record, it's like day and night for me. It never gels it completely. While I think it works here,
you can hear it's the same band.
Yeah, it's weird that they split it into two halves, but I can also understand why they split it up in two halves. So,
and there's a part on the synth side, the synth part of this album called Dromen der Bergen, and it really reminds me of Coil. It reminds me of like Ape of Naples era Coil, or maybe the music to play in the dark. It really reminds me of that. It has the same atmosphere, and that's something I never heard anywhere else except on those Coil records. And even only on those two Coil records. I don't know everything by them.
Okay.
But yeah, they go from industrial to I don't know how to describe Ape of Naples, but it resonates on such an emotional level with me that it's hard to describe. And when I listen to it and I analyze the music, it's pretty simple music. It has a lot of layers of sounds, but the melodies are pretty simple, and still it hits me every time.
Okay, well, Coil is one of those bands like a million that I know nothing about, not even one record. So it came up a few times during our sessions, let's say, and it seems I have to get into them.
Yeah, I once discovered Ape of Naples, and as I just said, it struck me at such an emotional level. I immediately bought it, and I bought everything else I could get from Coil, but this one really stands out for me.
All right.
This one, Music to Play in the Dark, and Horse Rot or Vater, for me are the best at the moment. And I do have some other ones.
Yeah.
But stuff that you can easily buy now is often stuff that's the two guys from the band are both dead.
Okay.
And there are the rights issues around the music, so there's a lot of B-sides and rarities and stuff like that that's getting released, but that's really for the hardcore fans who know everything else by heart, and that's not me.
Okay. So there's no new material coming out since they're both gone, or is the band still in existence?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Some collaborators of them, because they had other members, but the core of the band is gone since 2005 or so.
Okay. Interesting. The thing I took from the second part of the Geheugen dan, the Geheimhelmen, that track.
Yeah.
Because I was looking
the long one.
The long one, yeah. It is. Let's see. It's 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes. Looking for when is the first mention or the first sound that you can hear them change, or that you know, because we're still in the Boosk Black, if you will, in this part. They start to use the brown metal a bit further, but I was constantly looking where does the weird come in, or where does the brown come in. And I think the first time I noted it down is the Geheimhelmen. You have this at some point in the track, the drum does a counter beat, so it starts sputtering, or lack of words, and then the synths start to huff really hard. It's like a really weird combination of those, repetitive drum sounds that keep falling over themselves, and then that huffing synth, which in my opinion is the first time you hear the brown sounds coming through. But once again, that could be in my listening experience, not what they were going for.
Yeah, what is the brown sound? The interview that I read, Pitchak said it's Nathan Burke. He thinks it's Nathan Burke who coined the term the brown sound, the brown metal. But yeah, it's not something they invented, or now we play Boosk black metal and now we start brown metal.
No, probably something, a moniker somebody gave them, or that just came naturally, I guess. Especially when you have a record called The Bruine Troll, and you have samples of someone shitting and stuff like that, you get there quite rapidly. But yeah, that is the second one, which, yeah, like I said, the first part is, if you're into fast, blistering black metal.
Yeah, second wave black metal.
Definitely look into the second one. I think maybe for people that are just into black metal, that is the record that gives you what you want, because you have one part that is blistering black and one that is very good dungeon synth, in my opinion. So
yeah,
good record.
Yeah, this one or the Totem maybe.
Yeah. That is that's not the next one. The next one is De Zuivering from 98.
Yeah. I have it somewhere. Once again, I have the Aphelion version. Don't know if it's been released earlier on vinyl. It was a CD with Sudarim, a split.
Yes. So it came out as indeed a split. I have so much notes and stuff going on because I bought an iPad. Maybe I spent too much on it. Yeah, it came out as a split. The re-release is the Zuivering, and then tagged on is Promo 94.
Yeah. And the guy on the cover here, most of the covers are drawings by Mitchhags.
Yes.
He's based on a real figure who's called the Professor or something like that. I got the story once from Kiwi from Alkerdeel, but that they all know this guy on the cover.
Okay.
I have no idea who it is, but
It's
an existing guy, so
he looks insane with his sunglasses in the middle of the forest.
probably was insane.
The Zuivering is the track that spawned the beloved Belgian radio show called The Pankraker.
Yes. I also have the tape with the broken box. I have no idea where and when I bought this tape.
Long time ago.
Yes. Before the vinyl came out, otherwise I wouldn't have bought the tape.
Okay. We should trade doubles.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to get rid of it.
No.
There's a live track on the tape that I don't think is on the record. No idea. It's, by the way, it has the three promo tracks recorded at Lugubrum Studios in May 1994.
Yeah, that Before My Eternal Sleep is one of those tracks, and that's one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah.
The other one.
It's kind of a trashy album for me, especially the track "The Pankraker." I could, knowing the guy and knowing his taste, I immediately knew why he chose this track.
Yeah, it has this weird guitar that goes the uptone downtone, like pew 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 pew. You know, that thing that hooked me in immediately. It is such a great track from beginning to end, and even when the tempo slows down, it's still menacing. It has this menacing quality. I think maybe it's in the guitar sound, and that's what I relate to that brown sound. It sounds always slightly out of tune. It's not that it bothers me, but it has this weird quality of playing next to the notes almost in some part. I'm not a musician, I'm definitely not a guitarist, but it always sounds like, and it's an intentional sound, I think, but it's that weird, that almost out of key, and still it works. It's insane.
That's something I was wondering the whole time. Is their sound always exactly as they want? Because it's never. I think I wrote it down at the Totem, a track like "Udder of Death," which is one of my favorite tracks. If you give that well-produced sound with maybe some keys and a bit of a majestic sound, it would be an instant hit if Terratur Possessions would release it. Because it's a song reminding a bit of Hordomrife or Misotheist. And if you see now, the Misotheist record is sold out before it's released. If you put a track like "Udder of Death," you let Hordomrife play it, and with their production, it will be an internet hit.
Yeah, it also
For sure.
on the Totem, the vocals change again a bit for me, because it becomes more of that desperate howl that a lot of raw black metal now incorporates into their sound, which gives it, just another layer of. It's always those slight changes in vocal pattern sound that just, it's never the same record, and that's weird because they keep playing their style of black metal, but it's it changes ever so slightly into right.
I also, at the Zuivering, I wrote down that the guitar has a bit the sound and feel of later Lugubrum. Because maybe more in the front or more detailed, maybe a bit less distortion. Maybe it's just a way of playing. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that,
and also what you just mentioned, raw black metal. Is this raw black metal?
in my opinion,
It's-
it is actually. I would say that the zuivering is not, because I still think the production is like on Winterstones, still a bit good. Once you hit the totem, I think it becomes, because of those this more desperate house, the music becomes a bit more muffled sound and production wise. So you have this, yeah. I think if you have to put the raw moniker on one of those records, I think the Totem is the rawest of their.
Yeah.
Maybe just production wise, I'm not sure, but also I think production wise mostly. But it sounds.
Yeah, is raw black metal also just a style, or is it only production, or is it a combination of both?
Once again, in my opinion, I started listening to it because the intention was raw, and yeah, like with so many styles of music, like I always compare it to noise. Noise in the beginning was like searching for new ways to make music, but when there are 70 million noise artists, you have to end at a wall of sound. Just maybe think nothing. You end with nothing, and I think the
White noise.
I think the raw black metal scene was the same in a bit, but it could be just my personal taste because I was oversaturated with it. Now starting to creep back into selective parts, like I was listening to Hand of Glory because of what happened. There are true gems in that world too, but I think if
everywhere.
I think to come back to your question, I think it succeeds if it's not just a production raw to be raw. I think if the intention is to have the production work for you, I think that's when that genre succeeds, or when the gems come out. Yeah, the Totem is definitely in that category for me. I'm not sure intention wise, but definitely production wise.
Yeah, it's became one of my favorites. Totem. Totem and the zuivering as well. Yes. Those became two of my favorites.
It's hard for me to pick favorite.
Yeah, indeed. But those were the ones when I was I had listened to everything. Those were the ones I wanted to listen again. Okay. But let me put it that way.
Yeah. For me, it started with Totem as I started there and I was completely blown away with it. But then, hearing the other things and hearing more music or more sound in the other ones or more better production, I quickly got away from it. But the fact that it's the first one I bought says a lot. It is still a very good record, but the one that I went back to and again is Bruine Tron, just because of the everything that's going on that record. It is also the next one and maybe the last one in the books black metal chapter, if you will.
For at the Totem I also wrote down.
Yes,
it's quality music from start to finish, and it's the first one to feature the banjo, which was back then, I think, pretty ahead of their time.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, it's the banjo is there to support the music, not just to put a banjo in the music.
I have to say that I didn't notice the banjo on Totem, so maybe that's a good part. Because I know I've written it down on the Bruine Tron, because it's very prominent on that one. But I didn't note of it on the Totem. That could mean that it's very interwoven into the music, that it just
So also the members on this record are called Bailitis on vocals. They did have Sven on drums, but they're called Boer Midgaard, Boer Zwellig, and Boer Fijn, which means farmer, Midgaard farmer.
Yeah, they have
really the highlight of the Boersk black metal, and also the Carrot. I don't know what's up with the Carrot cult, but It's funny. I also remember in Ghent, opening for Sun, at one track he had the carrot lying on top of his amp in his cabinet, and at one time he took it and like people show their beer. Cheers! He did it with a carrot. Oi. And then he started playing and just.
I think, yeah, I always, ever since I started delving into them, I've seen the carrot as maybe the totem, if you will, for their madness. You know,
their spirit vegetable.
Yeah, maybe.
Instead of their spirit animal.
If we skip a bit to the last record, the Plage Chômage, if you will. No, sorry, the Wakker Kartel, the first track, that intro Meester van de Wortel. When I heard that one, it kind of came together because I saw this guy who was, the carrot was God for this guy, you know. So it's that dude in an asylum that just has one thing, and it's a carrot. So it always, it was the image that stood for the madness or the deranged thinking inside of the band. I think maybe it's that.
Somehow it all fits. It fits the band.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're very authentic.
A lot of carrots.
Yeah. They're just authentic, and they do what they feel like doing without any hesitation. They think, oh, I want to do this. Like, the last record is a perfect example.
Yeah, 100%.
How many people who like the Totem will also like Plage Chômage?
Well, 2, it seems, for now.
Yeah, probably more, but I remember from Peter from the Pancraker, because I did the gig in Ghent 2 years ago, or last year, I think, around the release of Plage Chômage, and I couldn't make it, or I was ill or something. But he said it wasn't that good. It's actually really bad.
The live show of that record.
Yeah. I don't know if they played a lot of tracks of that record, but I also don't really know how they can play that live, because I think it's all digital drums, or a lot of digital drums.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm kind of weary now when people, because when he says they didn't play well, or you know, is it because he was looking for I know it's Peter van Kragen, so he knows what the intention would be or what he was expecting.
Yeah.
You know, it's so subjective what you like and how they play. Maybe they played a great set for someone else, so it's always kind of weird. Yeah. The Totem, I think we blasted through that. I don't know if you have anything written down or.
Not really. Yeah. No. Yeah, Udder of That is one of my favorite tracks, I guess.
Yeah.
Udder of That, and the one coming right after, the Totem. Some of their slower material, when they have this guitar really on the front of the music, really slow, it reminds me of the slow tracks on Panzerfaust from Darkthrone.
Okay. Yeah, they
really has this. I even went back to listen to Panzerfaust and started with a very fast track, and I thought, oh, not how I reminded it, but the slow tracks on Panzerfaust and the slow tracks of Lugubrum, I even wrote it down on Gedachte en Geheugen.
Okay. Yeah, they
and somewhere it reminded me of a mix of Panzerfaust and even Soulside Journey. So it's weird because they also, from the very beginning, they have the drums don't just go and go and go, but there are these little mini breaks, or just one hit up and they stop for a while, and the drums often do something out of tune with the music, or they skip one beat, or
they do some weird stuff in some places.
That's a constant in their
Yeah.
in their discography.
Yeah. 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 True. I think on the Totem, it's noticed that the atmosphere becomes more important than on previous works. There's all talk about atmosphere. Everything has atmosphere, but to put it in that raw category, it kind of has a different vibe than the three previous ones. I think the Totem is the first real solid album from them in their discography. I think everything leading up to that is leading up to.
Yeah, but still good.
Yeah, and then very good, very good.
I'm gonna plug in before I get out of juice.
You're, of course, drinking Orval. There is no other thing.
I had a shirt with the Orval glass on it.
I thought you were going to drink Ordal.
No, I have a ginger, turmeric, cinnamon tea. For my voice.
We entered the last part of the Boursk black metal, which is the Bruine Tron. Maybe is it their longest records? I would assume maybe that it is.
No idea.
Not sure.
I have Alchemist before the Bruine Tron, but I don't know which one came first.
Okay, yeah. Because I was listening digitally mostly. It has on Bandcamp. It has Bruine Tron first, but it's both 2001. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. On Discogs, which is more reliable. It says Alchemist is first. So yeah, 2001, which is insane. 2 full lengths in 1 year. They're not the first, but still pretty weird.
Is Alchemist the full length?
Good question. Well, it has 1, 2, 3.
Yes, eight tracks. Yeah, so yeah,
we could consider it a full length.
Will be over half an hour. So
yeah. What do I have?
But it seems indeed quite long, Bruine Tron.
Yeah, it is definitely their longest record.
This is one I have on CD.
Okay.
There are a few I have on CD, but my CDs are still buried somewhere. Buried in the attic, not somewhere outside.
Okay.
Like Bruine Tron and the Split with Finsternis and yeah, those ones I have on CD.
Yeah. Alchemist is one of the albums that I haven't listened to a lot, simply because I haven't listened to the beginning of them. Like I said, the Boursk, I've listened to the later part, and then I was slowly getting into the middle part, but due to the sheer volume of tracks.
Well, it's with Alchemist I wrote down. It's a bit of a mix between Panzerfaust era with some hints of Soulside Journey.
Okay,
there.
Yeah.
Because I also just listened to it once. I'm not the guy who listens to music once and then the second riff of the fifth song is like, ooh.
Yeah.
I wish.
I wish that was like that. I think if you compare it to the Totem, let's say Alchemist is the follow-up to the Totem, the production is pulled out of the murk. So I wouldn't put it in the raw category. That's why I put it in the second part with the Vette Keuken and Heilige Dwaze more than the first part, because I think sound-wise, the Bruine Tron is closer to the Totem than Alchemist is. So maybe that's why I put it in that order. You have this voice on the Totem is that desperate howl that is muffled in the deep. On the Alchemist, I have this feeling that he's more preachy and more, not preachy in a bad way, but the preaching dark vocals like like some sort of, I don't know, priest or wizard or whatever. So it is that croaking, dragging voice that once again changes ever so slightly from the Totem, but it's something completely different. I think overall it's a more slow down record than the previous ones. Not saying that it's due or whatever, but if I write down slows it down, then it means, in my opinion, it's a very slow record.
Yeah, that's where I got the Panzerfaust connection, and the less muffled sounds. You say that's I think it was some bass sounds that reminded me of a Soulside Journey.
No, it's possible. It seems I'm really paying attention to the voice, looking back at my notes. So yeah. Yeah, the fast parts are insane, very sweeping riffs, and then together with that the preaching style of vocals, it is once again a very different record. They are still echoey. There is some effect on the vocals, but they're not buried in the mix or something. It's just it's all very clear and back open production. It has a doom quality to it. Later records will pop up again. They are incorporating that style into their mix. I was looking into what bands they could have been into at the time, but I think it's not apparent on Alchemist. I think it's more apparent on later records where the influence comes from. Like on Planetarium, I have more, the doom creeps in even more, and I think I hear some Saint Vitus like parts on there. Not Wino, but the slower, heavier doom, which makes this perfect with the drinking song quality. Yeah, Alchemist. The title is a bit clever, when you speak Dutch.
There are more clever titles.
Yeah, there are more
coming in later work.
I think Udder of Death is pretty clever. I don't know what it means, but it conjures a vision.
Yeah, like the one, the split with Urfaust, het aalschuim der natie.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking how to translate aal, because aal means it's bear.
Yeah.
It means like shit and urine and stuff, all that kind of stuff mixed together.
It's when you have a septic tank, the crust that is on top that you have to punch through with your spade. Yeah. That's
all
ever. The question who is
you have the track Aalschuimix on Herval, which is the Asterix name for Bagditis, I guess.
Yeah, that's.
But also the like Alchemist. I was chatting with David earlier this week, and I asked him, "Did you order an Alkerdeel record or not?" And he said, "No. For me, humor and black metal don't go together. That's why I don't like Lugubrum as well."
He told me.
Except for Albino De Congo.
That he likes.
Weird. That one he likes, but yeah, I don't know why he doesn't like the Totem.
His music style, his music style baffles me every time we talk, or it's what he likes and what he doesn't like. There's no line. There's definitely no line. Yeah.
But yeah, if you come to Alchemist, it's the fun gets in.
Yeah.
Also, the slogan on the record: "Your discomfort and damaged speakers nourish Lugubrum eternally." So yeah, it's the doomy bit, like it's like this slow doom with like slow stabbing riffs.
Yeah.
Don't know how to describe it, but
yeah, that's pretty good. Getting stabbed with a carrot. A very
sharp carrot.
Yeah. There's nothing much more I can say about that record. It's like I said, I'm not going to say it's a good one because Then
On Bruine Troon, the members are against word noting. It's Juan Solo on drums and keys. So I think it's Sven.
uh-huh.
Booby Fett on bass. And Pimping Midgaard, which I don't immediately find the Star Wars connection with Pimping Midgaard.
I'm not too familiar with the deep cuts in Star Wars, so I have no idea. Maybe he's just a pimp.
Who knows?
Lando Calrissian, that was the most pimpish character. But that's as deep as my thing goes with. So it's also
the most pimpish was Jabba the Hutt. he had all the women around him, so
you win. Yeah, he had a harem. The Bruine Troon is also the last one with Barditus. I think he does some vocals on some records, but they switch on that record, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Barditus is I think Urfaust is the first one without, because that's a tribute to Barditus.
Ah, okay. I misread, I guess. I think or maybe it's the first one.
This one, the split with Urfaust is also not with Barditus.
Well,
but up to Fastlion Fassonion is Barditus.
If you look into their biography, he leaves a few times, or he leaves for a few stints after he falls face first into.
He's on each record until the end.
Oh, okay, weird.
No, but not on Bruine Troon, indeed. It's not. Oh. It's without Barditus. Yeah, you're right. But he's back on the Vette Keuken, so.
A short pause.
Yeah.
I've written down for the Bruine Troon the last of the OG black metal Lugubrum, if you will. It kind of changes after that. In my head, like I said, Alchemist came after the Bruine Troon, so it kind of makes more sense in that way because the Vette Keuken pulls that Doom part even further into Doom. The Bruine Troon has a lot more black metal still on it. Not to say that not black metal and everything, but yeah, it is by far their most complete record in my opinion. But once again, that could be because of its length, because of what's going on. The intro are two Chinese farmers, bickering about something. There's a banjo that comes into the maelstrom, and it is a maelstrom. It's complete chaos in some parts. Just instruments that are tumbling over each other. There's a guy going to the toilet. In some parts, there's a cow on the track. So it is. It's the guy preaching to the carrots made this record, in my opinion. It's completely bonkers, and because of the length, it is almost impossible to, if you listen to it once, it's just, what the hell was that all about? There are many loose parts, and it's weird to connect the dots. But that same Vitus 5 I got was on Low Dog. It's one of the tracks that it's most pronounced in that sound, I guess. It is, it's a full record for sure.
I will revisit it soon.
Yeah, I'm looking at my. Yeah, it has everything. It even has, because in the second everything that I just said, the toilet, the cow, the Chinese farmers, that's all first part in the St. Vitus. Then the second part kind of has more of the black metal feel, if you will. But then when it comes a bit long, or maybe even a bit boring, dare I say, then it just throws, the Bump Room Brawl, which is a speed metal track, if you will, that just pulls the record in another direction, and it's completely insane.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I didn't listen to it again last week. Yeah. Because I also have nothing written down for it.
Yeah, I think I've written down Bruine Troon is fire, which is internet speak, of course, but what's your prediction for Bruine Troon? Do you think it's going to be the last record, or is it
the sound at the Instagram story was pretty black metal.
Mhm.
But yeah, what's black metal? If they play the music you could hear was black metal. The sound I don't really know.
Yeah.
But if it has the sound of Heilige Dwazen with a not so powerful guitar,
Mhm.
in my opinion, then it's can you call it black metal then? I don't know. But it was fast. It was fast, and it's a really short part, of course, but it sounded pretty second wave black metal.
Oh, okay.
Blast beats, typical riffing style.
If you
But can you predict? I'm not gonna try to predict what they're gonna do.
no, because it seems like I mean, just title wise, word wise, it seems like a follow up to the Bruine Tron.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I've also read somewhere it's like Bruine Kroon and then between parentheses Bruine Tron Part 2. So in my head it is the follow up without a doubt. But even then I'm not gonna predict.
No, there is nothing. I am looking on Bandcamp because one of the things that I noticed is that they have some reviews on their band, which happens a lot. You know, people review a record.
Yeah.
One, for example, I had it, but it's like, since we're talking about the last record, Flush and Lush, that's probably how it sounds when a former black metal band records a jazz soundtrack for their unemployed friends partying outside their regular supermarket. Stylist descends into bad taste, which is virtuously composed in equal parts and performed with snotty Belgian charm in a hilarious way. Imagine if the guys from Madness had kids. And then the last one is Napoleon Dynamite black metal. When I read that, I could hear some of that shit for sure. There's one Jacob Butcher who has some great reviews.
Napoleon Dynamite, it's a movie, no?
Yeah.
The teenage movie?
Yeah, but it's one of those teenage movies. It's completely wiped out, just like them, I guess. If you really want to laugh, you should go to their site, Lugubrum, I don't know, .com, and just look at I think the Bruine Tron, the reviews for that from Urfaust and Aardschok and stuff like that. There's even a guy who blames them for the downfall of his life, for everything going bad and stuff like that. So it's really worth checking out. And I like that I love that they put that stuff on there. Kind of builds the mythos. But yeah.
Also, they put reviews that laugh with them online on their own site. It's also just, hey, we do whatever we feel like, without any shame, without any hesitation.
Yeah,
it's just so much confidence in the band.
Yeah, for sure. So we did Alchemist and the Bruine Tron, the Vette Keuken. Yeah, it's 2004 already. I think it's a continuation of the sound on Alchemist, in my opinion. I even hear I Got sludge creeping in a bit here and there. The guitars do this crazy strumming mosquito sound in some parts, so it's once again a totally weird record, but that's one I didn't listen to all that much.
It's the one where some mild psychedelics start to creep in, right. Like on the magere keuken. No, the vette keuken means the rich kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and the magere keuken means the poor man's kitchen. I don't know how to say it. But there's this. There's the flanger, the whiz on the guitar. It comes in and it creates. It's the first time I got the psychedelic effect in their music, and it's psychedelic because of the use of this instrument or this modulation, but it's also the music itself. That's something Omar told me once. He said, "Yeah, it's not because you use a wah-wah pedal you have psychedelic music."
No.
And he Omar tries to compose music that's psychedelic because of the nature of the music, like Devil's Blood or something.
It's like intent versus, production. The intent.
Yeah, intent versus tricks.
Yeah.
Trickery. It's not because you do spacey synth you have psychedelic music, But here it's because a flanger is in effect widely used, but they use it to create something short psychedelic part, and it's the first time I heard it, and it comes back a lot in. Yeah, the next one is Heilige Dwazen, and then it's De Ware Hond. There's this, it's a mix between psychedelic and some jazzy, weird lines.
I think the jazzy parts, the free form stuff comes in at this point. I think Heilige Dwazen, like we said, is the pivot in their sound, maybe, if you will. And then the Ware Hond is some reviewer, I don't know who, was going off on a crowd rock vibe, so I can hear where you are coming from with the psychedelic sound, especially. I think on the Ware Hond, the thing that I took from that, or that the bass is doing very weird stuff on that, and that's the first time it really. But
it's a different bass player.
Yeah,
it started on Heilige Dwazen, so for me there was the break in styles.
Yes,
and it's mainly because of the jazz influences creeping in, and it is Master Stein is the bass player, and he's the bass player here and on the live album De Ware Hond, and that's it.
Seems there are two bass players on Heilige Dwazen.
Yeah, that's right.
2 guitars, 2 bass.
Yeah. And a saxophone. And also the kind of the Buddhist influence in titles and lyrics is coming through, because they're also called. It started on the Vette Keuken, in fact, because the members are called Svein or Sven, Bailutus, Midgars, and then you have Bodhidharma and Kundalingus.
Okay.
And I looked it up, and Kundalini is the form of divine feminine energy. And it's believed to be located at the base of the spine.
Okay.
So that's one of the 7 chakras, I think.
Chakra stuff.
Yeah, but that's the Vette Keuken, and the Ware Hond is there at the base of the tail, and it also that's 3 years later, but they're still talking the base of the tail, and Kundalingu and Bodhidharma is still the sex, still plays the sex on that album, and Bodhidharma was a Buddhist monk. He did a lot. Lived during the 5th or 6th century. He's traditionally credited as the transmitter of Chan Buddhism to China and regarded as the first Chinese patriarch. According to Chinese legend, he also began the physical training of the monks of the Shaolin monastery that led to the creation of Shaolin Kung Fu. So
there is some deep stuff behind it. Yeah,
it's just a name they take, but they're when he says my influences, you can hear my influences back in the music. It's clear that from Heilige Dwazen to De Ware Hond, he was into Buddhism, and maybe some weird Buddhist music influenced him. But
of them was for sure. We are on
But it's still pretty black metal. It's more black metal than I recalled. It doesn't have the harsh guitar sound anymore, Heilige Dwazen. But I thought it was pretty jazzy. With at some parts you have the song begins and then you can hear, okay, from now on they just do something, they go on the loose, and then a bit later they come back together, but still pretty solid song structures on Heilige Dwazen.
It seems for I'm not sure for the Heilige Dwazen, but for the Ware Hond, they had the structure of the record was written out, that they know where they were going, but the intent was just free form, not maybe improvisation a bit, but just free form. Let's see where we go. We know this, and this. Let's see where. These
are actually the records I discovered them with when they were released on All Grey Hair, and back at the LSP we took the records from them, and that's when I listened to them for the first time.
Okay. It's the two records that are, for me, the hardest to get into at the moment, just because of I don't know, just because of those influences, I think.
Harder to grasp.
Yeah, maybe. Also, maybe because of, like we said last time, the preconceived notion of a band. I was always under the impression that Lugubrum was a black metal band, which they are in some parts, which they are completely not in other parts. So it's hard for me to take everything I thought they were, set aside, and then listen with an open
drop
mind.
it.
The thing on Heilige Dwazen, the last one on Anemone Meteorites, that track, it is such a it's a drone piece, or a drone track, if you will. It is 13 minutes, and it's such a good outro or closer for that record. That pulled me back in a bit to those two records. Like the guy, I don't know who to credit, but like you said, the crowd influence, or the Buddhist, the world music influence that comes in. But that track, I've written down, it feels like a goodbye. So in a way, maybe it's the burial of the first part of Lugubrum, and then the gates open for the second part. It feels like that to me. It's a dance drum, very cool part of that record. You also, at that time, between the Heilige Dwazen and the Ware Hond, you have the live album, which also connects part 1 and part 2, if you will. Very good album. Listen to it a few times, just letting it pass through, and pretty impressed by it.
Great title. Trampled brass and midget ropes.
Yeah.
The explanation is did you read how they got the title?
From the live album?
Yeah. They were it was at Paradiso Amsterdam, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, opening for Sun, and they someone fell backstage, and they fell on a trumpet or a horn or something. So that's the trampled brass.
Oh, okay.
And they were looking at the ropes of Sun, and they felt like they were very small ropes. So
your sound is gone. I don't hear you. What now? You can hear me fine, so it's, I don't know, is it you or is it me?
hello.
I hear.
You hear me?
Now I hear you. Okay, we're back.
Okay, but I'm gonna try to connect again to the speaker.
It sounds differently, yeah.
Now am I back?
Yes.
Okay. Something with the speaker. No. But that's where they got the midget ropes from, because they found the ropes of Sun, and they were like a meter high. So
is that a byline on the record? Because the record is called Live in Amsterdam, but I have written it. I've looked at it somewhere. So is it on
I have
the?
no idea. Wait, I'm just gonna. This is the Heilige Dwazen
Okay.
with weird midgets with big penises on it.
Yeah, they have.
Maybe carrots, but they do have something with midgets. Is it a violin? I don't know. There on the it says drums, vocals, guitars, bass, another guitar player, Hieronymus, which only was on Heilige Dwazen, the live one, and this one,
Okay.
and a banjo.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not really much info on the.
No, the records are
It's just
very basic.
yeah. So I don't know. Don't know if I re-listened this one as well. Don't think so.
Yeah, like I said, the Wild Home for me, it was kind of hard to get into, and I kind of left it at the side just because of the sheer volume of releases. So
It does have one of the weirder and cooler
yeah, it's a midget.
cover art.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
what
but it is so weird. It's just like I'm gonna paint someone who does I don't know, then put it on the cover of the Warehond. It's also have you read the lyrics?
I don't have too much lyrics because I don't have records.
Yeah, it's something like there he is, the true dog. It's a cat. Something like that. Very weird again.
I would declare it.
Yeah, I know lyrics are in the CD, or there's some. Yeah, is it poetry? Is it? I don't know, but something. I think that it's on Metal Archive as well. I'm just gonna check.
Something between poetry and complete. I think the Vagabond also shows up on the cover of the Vette Keuken. You have this pit bull there that is
It's super great artwork.
Super great artwork. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that the re-releases on vinyl don't have the, even a picture of the original artwork, because the Totem is, they're all kind of different than the original artwork. Has this collage, but never the real picture. Especially the Vette Keuken, which is a real cool picture.
Yeah. I'm looking for the poet thing, but I can't find it.
Okay.
I should dig up my CDs, but yeah, it's
Well,
not happening at the moment.
When we're done, we'll have enough to talk about, I guess. After the Ware Hond in 07, the fusion black metal record, someone called it, we are now onto one of their classics, Albino De Congo.
Yeah.
I think Albino De Congo and Face Oignon in my head are two very relatable records. The Albino De Congo, the story is that it's recorded in Congo, one of our
colonies.
Our history that is not something to be
black page. Yeah.
Black page.
Very, very dark page.
Very dark page. It is it's not a very heavy. You would assume that if a Belgian black metal band makes a record about Congo, that it would be the darkest it could be, but it's actually not that dark.
It's very progressive. I thought it was more black metal. I didn't recall it as being such a progressive album. In my head, it also came. This was the link between the black metal and the jazz part of Lugubrum, but in fact, it's after the jazzy part, which I think the two jazz albums, if we can call it that, because it's not jazz. They're really just a whole different part in their discography somehow.
yeah, that's why I pulled these two together, because you have De Ware Hond and you have Heilige Dwaze, which is then their freeform jazz. Then you have Albino De Congo and Fasonion, which both deals in themes about history. The Fasonion is from this Napoleon.
Yeah, he knows a lot about Napoleon. If you go and read the Bardo interview,
It's
he
half about.
knows a lot about Napoleon.
I learned more from Napoleon from that Bardo methodology interview than I did in school.
Yep.
It seems his dad was a history major or something like that.
I don't know.
So he.
I know they asked him about the cover paintings. It was an interview during the Wakker cartel, because that's one where they have a picture, a photograph, and not a painting of him as cover. But he trades in art, so he works a lot in art galleries, and he I mean Midgaard. So that's how he gets all the influences, which he mixes with his own weird brain.
Albino De Congo is from 2008, so they keep their almost yearly outputs up since the Ware Hond was 2007. Like you said, it is a bit reaching back to their black metal past, their heritage, if you will. A very dense and open sound, which comes from the previous records where they have this free-form, almost jazz-like production. Very clear drum sound, and then instead of, because I heard black metal, but it's more first wave than second wave, and maybe that's because he does this in some parts. It goes into, I almost dare call it first wave black metal, because it's more battery, battery, that influence that comes through a bit more punk, if you will, than the second wave or the later thing. It loses a bit of the atmosphere of the earlier black metal stuff, so it doesn't have. It's something different. I can't say there are too many African influences or stuff like that, which you would assume.
Yeah, in the outro maybe.
Yeah, here and there. Yeah, it does these weird things. It has a lot of strange interludes and strange instrumentation that you can say it comes there. They do these weird things where they use blast beats, and they have some parts that's almost like when a detective is on the loose.
Yeah.
And then the drummer completely blasts through that part, and it's once again it's insane to put those two together. But
also pretty. You mentioned the drum sound. It sounds very natural to me. Very natural, and I think it's on the next one that there's this double bass part, which really grabbed my attention when you mentioned the kick sound at the beginning of the episode. Something I immediately thought of. But also the guitar playing is pretty technical.
I think
on Albino De Congo.
I think the technical. I really noticed the technical side of their playing style on Fasonion, especially in the second half of that record. It completely transforms, because you have on the first parts they are experimenting with a bit of Mid-Eastern sounds. It's not over the top Mid-Eastern sound, and it's maybe colored because of what it deals with thematically, that I hear that. But if you go to the second part of that record, it's night and day. It becomes very technical. And
if you go and listen back to the earlier records, it's already there.
Yeah, it's already there, but it's more it's played more crude style than maybe as good at their instruments. But I don't know. It kind of
the guitar
it kind of reveals itself as a very technical part of that record.
And it's because of the very clear guitar sound that it's so in your face. You notice it because it's so upfront.
Yeah.
While on the early records, yeah, there's a lot of distortion on top, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just
It's
rages.
mixed from that and then the freeform fusion shit they do on the Viva Home. But yeah, it's that technical part that grabbed me and that surprised me actually because they do that, like you say, in the earlier records, you have that technical stuff, but not as proficient as they do it on this. And then to
No.
top of it, you have this almost death metal vocal part that comes in at the end.
Yeah, indeed.
Just, yeah, it's 5 minutes of death metal in a catalog of Lugubrum, which is, yeah, a tongue on a varken.
Which is almost heavier than all those deathcore bands who try to with their super down-tuned guitars. This music, just pure music-wise, this is so much heavier than that.
That's maybe once again the intent. It's yeah, and it's completely unexpected.
Yeah, indeed.
It's even more completely because I was listening to that record while I was doing dishes or whatever, and then sometimes when you, especially when you play something digital, you don't have the clue when it stops. So I was doing the dishes, and the death metal part came and went, and it was done, and then after a while I was thinking, oh yeah, I should put it on another record, and then that kazoo shit comes in, and I scared the shit out of me after 5 minutes or something. Someone starts boring.
I was wondering if it's would the kazoo part, would it be a track from the record? I was in the car, so I couldn't skip and compare, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's kazooing version of one of the first tracks of the record.
Yeah, maybe. I was too scared to. It comes. Yeah, it's very late in the track, so there's a pause. It's
it's a ghost track.
Yeah, it's a bonus track. Yeah. But yeah, two very good records. That maybe harken back a bit to their early sound and that lab metal, come back in to their world on their turf.
The first half of Fast Leon Fast on Yo is very fun.
Yeah.
The Jaffa is the track. Jaffa and the first three tracks. It's the side A of the record. They're really with the
I have to think about
it. Always kind of makes me wanna, like on a fair, maybe Carnivale. Have you seen Carnivale?
Yeah, maybe. I know what I haven't seen them. But the way I interpreted it is, if you think about it, is about the French campaign in Syria in 1799. So that's what it's about. And in my opinion, the first half of the record is, like you said, it's this, let's have a good time. French are, they're not quite in Syria. They are going, it's fun times. We're going to war. We're going to victory. And then when they get there, it's the shit hits the fan. That's the second half of the record, maybe. The technical, the chaos comes in. So maybe I'm reading into too much, but it could explain what was going on. I don't know what happened during the French campaign. Maybe they just waltzed through it, but not sure.
No idea.
We'll have to ask.
I will show them. This is the Albino De Congo.
I like that one better than the original.
The cover art.
Yeah, the cover art. This is what it is, but the Albino De Congo.
Yeah, I have to check the original cover art.
Well, digital. This is the original.
Yeah, indeed. That's the CD cover art.
Probably. Yeah, I didn't spend too much time on splits, so I don't know what you can say about it. Alsgrim Nazi from 2015. It is my entry point, so
it's more part of Herval than it's with Fast Leon and Albino De Congo.
100%. I think,
my opinion.
After Fast Leon, Fast Oignon, I drew another line. So we have first the Boots Black, then we have the more doomy stuff, which is Alchemist, which is De Vette Keuken, Heilige Dwazen en De Ware Honden zijn de transition. Albino De Congo, Face de Lion is the more technical black, if you will, and then Herval kind of stands on its own, in my opinion.
Together with this one.
Okay, together with this.
Which is also a great, I don't know if you can see it really well, but
Yeah.
I think it's a great painting.
It's a great painting.
This weird guy, could be a midget.
A very strong midget.
On a beach full of, what's it called, Quallen?
Jellyfish.
Full of jellyfish with a giant wave getting over him, but he's so at ease. The face of the guy is so, yeah, it's nice. I'm going surfing. Yeah, nice.
Look at all these jellyfish. Also love the picture, them with their bow ties, or one with the bow tie.
Yeah.
You can almost smell the basement when you look at that picture. He also has a brass instrument. I don't know which one, and then he has a plunger to, which is a great picture. The other is of course Urfaust, the other side.
Yeah. An anecdote about the drum kit. They still use the same drum kit for over 25 years now, and it has been urinated upon. People have vomited on it, and one time they cooked spaghetti in it. But it sounds like no other drum kit, so they still use it.
When I read the spaghetti, I was like, oh, okay, it must have a good sound. Herval has the track called Dorsty.
Sorry. This one also has one of those funny language thingies, because the lyrics are assume the boekhouding. So that's, to assume a pose is something, but I'm not gonna explain it, but it's really funny. Can you translate it into English?
Assume the boekhouding.
Assume the accountant pose, but boekhouding is not just an accountant pose, it's what an accountant does.
I have an image in my head because one of the guys from Hypertension is called the boekhouder. So every time I hear that track or that lyric, I just think of Gear. So yeah, it's even harder to explain that one. So let's just keep the accountant.
Leave it at that.
Yeah. But it is true that it is the companion piece to Herval, which is an obvious trait of Orval, the beer. Work is the same. This is the cap of Orval, which they just used for their.
I didn't even know that it was. I just thought it was something because there is this track Thirsty Fish on here.
Like Totem.
It's the first one is Lugubrum Trio.
Yep.
And it's the first one without Baglitus, because he had a severe alcohol addiction, and he had to quit drinking. I once heard a story from a friend of mine. Said, the doctor advised him to go on a low alcohol beer, so not without, but with instead of 5%, like 1%. But then he just drank 5 times as much. So, and then he had to quit drinking, and then he said, I can't do Lugubrum without drinking.
The anecdote that is in their bio is that he quit after they were playing in a basement that was kind of flooded, and he just fell face forwards into the water during the rehearsal, and then he said, like, okay, I can't do this anymore. The link with Orval is even more clear on the other version you have. I think it has the Orval glass on there.
This is the Erratum edition, which apparently has the labels switched.
Labels are switched. It seems the labels are switched. It's a misprint. It's also brown vinyl, right?
Yes. It's colored anyway. It's like brown beer vomit marbled. Maybe I can show it like this.
Yeah, nice. Area brown.
It's nice to have. I bought it at a live gig. I think maybe even at Roadburn.
Possible. They played, yeah, Roadburn. I didn't write down Roadburn. I saw them live at the Vooruit, and then with Paragon Impure in Gold Bayard in 2018.
At the release show of Sade. Was it the release show of Paragon Impure?
This one.
Yeah.
These guys unfortunately called it quits, and they are now full part of Lugubrum. This is the show.
Yeah, but between the first and the second one, the band was dead as well, I think. And he just revived it because he had enough ideas or something. I don't know.
And the record was kind of done in a way, but then he changed it completely and made a new one with the Stade. But it seems
it's Noctis, right?
Noctis, and I think Spine. What's his name?
Yeah, I think Noctis is the
main guy behind it.
Does all the music.
Yeah, there was a period when around the time Sada was coming out, I talked with him a lot, and it seemed that after the show they played with Val or they were supposed to play with Val and Warlock, and I don't know. I went to that show. Yeah, somewhere around Bruges. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's at that show he got tinnitus or somewhere around that time, and just like the one who couldn't play sober for Lugubrum, he couldn't play the Paragon Impure, which is a shame because those records are, I mean, especially this one, the first one. This is, for Belgian black metal, this is a classic in my opinion.
Yeah, the Sade didn't do that much for me. I hear it's good, but it's like after 2 or 3 tracks, it's enough for me. The other one I don't really know that well.
The original idea for this video was to do it by myself because I have this series on my channel that is just Belgian black metal. First one was Paragon Impure. I was going to do Lugubrum, but it was just so much that it scared me a bit. But I did one on them, and I was listening constantly, but I have to revisit it because that has been 2 years for now. So can't too much on the records, but I know at the time I liked it very much. Right, and the Sada too. Very good record.
It's on sale at Fan Records, Sada. So
yeah, probably.
If you don't have it, people, go and get it.
Yes. You can never go wrong with a Fan release, in my opinion. So yeah, for Herval 2015, I wrote that they are deep into the brown. The thing that comes in at this point is thrash metal, especially on tracks like the Aalschuim Mix and Urinoir. I have a definite, it's a weird brand of thrash, but I hear a lot of thrash into it.
Okay. That's something I didn't really notice.
Okay. The weirdest thing I heard on it is you have this track called Aldi Lacta Est.
Aldi Jacta Est, yeah. Super fun.
And I hear Kai's in there. Desert rock.
Surf. There's this surf guitar part, and it's just like it rocks.
Yeah, it's maybe the most rocking. Excuse me for this, for using that word, but it's maybe the most rocking track they have. It has desert rock vibes. It has thrash parts on that record. The jazz parts become very prominent on Herval. You have these saxophone parts, but they use jazz like David Lynch uses jazz in Lost Highways. That high note, very chaotic jazz saxophone playing that works well with their style. You even have some, I think this is the first time, because on the Ware Hond, you kind of had some dub, the Starlop movement too, you had some dub influences, because I hear one track that I know, but then on the Herval, you kind of have that raga reggae, not that they, wear dreadlock.
Part, yeah.
They start
normally I'm in need for medication.
Yeah.
Normally I'm in need for medication.
those
Yeah,
songs,
it's super.
um, yeah, and there are, of course, there are spurts of black metal that get interwoven, but it's just such a mix that once again it is
It's
clear,
pretty unique.
pretty unique, and it's clear that they are something very different. Once again, they are Lugubrum trio, and it's a different phase in their career. So yeah, with everything that I just said, trash, desert rock, reggae,
Yeah.
jazz, crazy soloing sex going on, and then black metal,
And humor.
That would be good. Sorry?
Humor.
Yeah.
Because Aldi Jacta is est. It's a Latin saying. The teerling is geworpen. The dice has been cast. It's a quote from Kaiser.
Mhm.
But here they say Aldi Jacta est, probably because he was buying the cheapest beer, Bailetus at Aldi. Also, de vergeelde truidrager.
That's incredible.
It means the gele trui is the yellow jersey, so the vergeelde trui is it's like the when you have a white wall and you smoke constantly in it for 20 years, it becomes yellow. Because they also sing about Rokken van Gitanes, which is skirts of Gitanes, which is a brand of cigarettes.
Yeah.
So it's all there. Aalschuim mix is like Aalschuim is the foam and on a beer, but Aalschuim is the foam on a on shit. And Aalschuim mix is the Asterix name.
Yeah.
Asterix and Obelix, something like that. It's for me, it's like putting Bailetus on a throne as the drunk guy of the village from Asterix, something like that. So, Uri Noir.
I was just going to say Uri Noir. It's great.
So because when David said I don't like humor in black metal, for me, yeah, you can easily listen to the Totem without the humor, but it has these weird Flemish farmer terms. Maybe that's very that's already too much. I don't know.
Jacob Butcher has a review for this, and it says distinctly spewing vocals and lavishly rumbling beats stumble here quite bluntly over jazz sprinkles and the one or other completely contextless idea, blah blah blah. You shouldn't even start with the lyrics because they are so wonderfully stupid that you can't really classify the nonsense wrapped up in black metal. Wonderfully unique, something truly special. The lyrics and the play on words and stuff like that. It's something that I think gets lost on non-Dutch speaking people, of course, because it's like alchemist,
Yeah.
It's hard to.
It's revenge for all the Scandinavian Flemish revenge.
Flemish revenge. All right. So yeah, that was Herval from 2015. Then we come to one of my
favorites, I think, Herval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One of my
so also it's weird. It has incorporates a lot of different styles.
Yeah.
But it's a very coherent listen all over.
That's true.
And it's like when he's shouting Aldi Jacta est, it's really shouting. It's not singing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I don't particularly appreciate. Aldi, but it just works and everything on the album works.
And that they managed to incorporate, like you said, that many styles and still make a whole. Just make.
It's one of those albums I can listen to like 10 times in a row without getting bored.
Yeah, 100%. For me, like I said, Herval is an island maybe in their discography. For me, Wakker Kartel is one of my favorites, especially like I said, because Meester van den Wortel, it is the intro and it's just one small part of that record, but it says so much about that band and the visions I have, or the visual thing that I have with that kind of explains the band for me, or at least in my head. They even had a sambal made up, Vuur van de Meester, for this record,
Okay.
which is, you know, another thing. Yeah. Vuur van de Mist is maybe my favorite track from this. It has brass, it has guitar, it has chanting on there. And then the follow-up is Tussen Honden, which, you know, you have this Vuur van de Mist, which is a really good track, but then Tussen Honden, after like Herval, there's not much black metal, but then it seems Wakkerkartel really incorporates it into, especially on a track like Tussen Honden, it just blasts all of a sudden, and it's really unexpected at that point that they would do something like that again. So
also they have the bit of the more raw guitar sound again.
Yeah, very repetitive.
It's not harsh. It's not harsh, but it's less. Yeah, especially on the those jazzy albums, the guitar sound was very
not metal.
Not metal and not very powerful or something. That's really back in this one. It's more on the front again.
It always had the main role in their music, the guitar, the vocals, guitar. But yeah, in the middle part, that is the Warehond, and he is.
You were gone. You were gone for a second.
Okay, we're back. Kind of got relegated to an instrument that is part of the bigger picture, while on Wakkerkartel it becomes more prominent and more shoved to the forefront again. There's a lot of repetitiveness in the riffing, which once again does something else. It surprises again on that record. Cover to the record, it's one that I fell in love with hard.
With the cover, because your sound was gone again for a few seconds.
Yeah, so from the cover to what's on it, I fell in love with it.
Yeah, this is the one where he said, I cannot create a painting that's more powerful than this picture. So,
right.
And here I don't know if you can see it, but one of the wheelchairs fell over. And he's on the ground. And, yeah,
is that the back of the record?
Yeah. Also, Michaels with his he always has sort of a Hawaii shirt.
Okay. Yeah, every time I see a guy black metal in a wheelchair, I have to think about mutilation, but I'm not sure how that translates. But yeah,
it's a great record, and while it has again more black metal parts, it's a very laid back album. Very laid back, very easy, very groovy. So it combines two things. Yeah. It's more black metal and raw guitar sound, and it's one of their most laid back albums.
I think they achieve maybe their, if Bruine Tron is the summum, if you will, of their black metal parts of their black metal records, then I think Wakkerkartel is the perfect combination, like the live record, the perfect combination of old and new. And I think they managed to capture something on that record in 2017 that is the perfect blend of those two sounds. The two big periods of the black metal and then the more freeform records they have, which leaves just one, which is from the year 2020, the Plage Chômage. I'm not sure if I.
You have this one as well. Another split with Urfaust. Brado Brothers. Don't know what it means. For me, it's like braderij and just go and drink until you fall over. But I don't know if that's the real explanation behind the title.
I haven't found anything.
Was released by Van Records as well.
Yes.
I think on 5 different colors.
Something like that.
You have black, white, blue,
red.
Something red, and purple.
Yeah.
So and there were customers asking because I can always order those titles before they go in the van shop. And customers were mailing because Fan Records announced, oh yeah, copies will go to these and these distros, and I could have sold 50 copies.
Yeah, and I was kind of counting on it to come in at Babylon, but it never came, I guess. Or it came, but in
They were all spoken for,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Some people asked, can I get every color?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, yeah. It seems they have.
It's a very, very weird. The Brado Brothers is on par with the Plage Hommage. Very bass driven. Yeah, it's the true dog here. It's a cat. It's a cat with a mustache.
It seems. Oh yeah. What's its name?
Fergus.
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 We have a cat. Grondwerk has a cat.
Yeah, it's not mine. It's
they have found the perfect Brado Brothers in Urfaust. Too bad. Because I've written it down somewhere in my conclusion. They are both drinking bands, but never. Because the last 5 minutes when I was at work today, there was a track on the radio. I'm not sure which it was, but it was one of those pirates we like to drink and have a good time tracks. And I was thinking, it's basically that, but the complete opposite. So it's drinking.
Yeah.
You know, it's about delirium, it's about bad trips and about bad experiences, about alcoholism and fucked up lives and stuff like that. So it's never a good time, but
I think Lugubrum is about having fun.
In some way, yeah. What is fun? It's different for people, but I think they have found the perfect companion to do splits with on Urfaust.
Yeah.
No, they're not done with each other.
The Brado Brothers track is very bass and organ driven.
It's
I don't even know if it has guitars on it.
If you see het Aalschap der Natie as a companion piece to Herval, you can probably see Brado Brothers as a companion piece to Plage Hommage. Because like what you say, it's very bass heavy. It has those organ parts. Plage Hommage, in my opinion, it was a hard record for me because it was one of the first I got into because it's the last one. Especially when you said a few episodes ago, it has those trap drums, and then that completely threw me off balance because that was something, once again, something completely different for them. My daughter is now 3 years old, and there is this. I'm not sure what he sings, but there's this, and she does that, and she's 3 years old, but she heard it a few times, and now. She doesn't know what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying, but she has that, that rhythm in her vocabulary somehow. So that was pretty funny.
I don't know what it's about. Probably about people not working and living from welfare, because chômage means doppen.
Okay. I have no idea. My French is horrible.
Chômage means living off welfare.
Okay.
I think I should check, but yeah, I think so. But one of the first things he sings is dirt cheap design on my carpet. What are you singing about?
And also in a very raga kind of.
Yeah.
It has that raga singing style over trap beats that becomes trap hi-hats, but it's completely not trap. It has almost, in some points, it almost has a Mike Patton vocal style delivery. I hear madness in some parts, the band Madness, and the track Fatty Streak is one of my absolute favorites by that band. It's the last one on the record, and it just blew my mind once again.
Yeah.
It's insane. I
didn't like when I first heard it. It was like, no. No, don't need it. Don't. And the guys from Luster were here once, and it was had just been released, and they have a new album. Put it on. And I put it on, and I was like, the first track, I don't like it. And Nicky was like, what? I kind of like it. Yeah. While the bass player was like, is it all electronic drums nowadays? But it totally grew on me very much.
I think I took to it because of the fact that I have actually trap records in my collection. So that's a genre of music that it's not excessively, but I listen to some of the things. So, but it is a bit like a tang on a varken. It is completely. It's maybe the most un-Lugubrum records there are. So that's why
Which makes it very much a Lugubrum record.
There you go. That's why I asked about Bruine Krom, what the expectations was going to be, Place Hommage continuation, or once again like Wakker Cartel after Place Hommage back to the black metal. I don't know. But yeah, it is for now a fitting end to like you said, it is so not Lugubrum that is Lugubrum. It is it's once again an insane record.
Just do what they want with a lot of confidence and just. I also heard it's like an album from Midgaars, and the other ones were like, do I have to do this? But they did. So.
The Place Hommage?
Yeah, other members didn't like it. But hey, it's here and it's a great record. So,
right. I think we managed to roll through the entire discography, except for a few splits. They have a split with Sudarium, with Finsternis, and then the two Urfausts.
The split with Sudarium is the Zuivering, no?
Zuivering, all right. Yeah, it's kind of confusing when you start re-releasing stuff and then adding stuff and stuff like that. There's much more. We could go back into past bands and stuff like that, but I think we almost reached the 2-hour mark, so that should suffice. The only thing that I would love to say is rest in peace, Klapje, rest in peace, Julien, and rest in peace, Lugubrum. Do with it what you will. Look into it, Klapje, especially is a great story. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the Bursk black metal.
Yes.
Around the 2-hour mark, that's usually the time when we dive into what we've been listening to. Now, for this episode, I don't have too much because I've literally been listening to Lugubrum for 2 weeks almost straight.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
I put on a lot of Doors the last weeks.
Counterparts to.
I just was looking for music to put on during dinner with the kids of my fiance being here. So they seem to like it.
Okay.
So especially which ones were it? I have to check because I always put on the same titles because it has all the great tracks on it.
Yeah.
But I listened to Strange Days, Waiting for the Sun, and the Soft Parade. Kind of like 3 or 4 times each.
Yeah.
And
they don't have too many bad records, in my opinion. So.
No, the Soft Parade is one that doesn't really get me yet. But I had that with Waiting for the Sun and Strange Days as well, and Morrison Hotel, and now they do so.
Yeah, I think the thing that these kind of listening sessions and these kind of podcasts we're doing, or whatever you want to call them, the thing that teaches me is that you have to invest time and you have to listen, not just glance over a record and then make an opinion. Because every time you listen, you hear something new. The record changes, and like we said, you have to the preconceived notions. You have to let some of that go to really appreciate what a band like Lugubrum for example.
For me, it's very very eye-opening when I put something on shuffle and I don't know which band is on.
100%.
Then I can really listen without any prejudice.
Without
eye
claps.
Another one is the new Abigor, which I have a hard time getting into Abigor in the later albums. In the meantime, I do really like what's it called? The one with the two very long tracks.
I am blanking on Abigor. I have no idea.
Because it was one of my first black metal loves. The classic era Abigor with Nachthymnen and Verwüstung, Opus 4, stuff like that.
How is that tape box? Is it worth it?
It looks very cheap and a bit clumsy. I have it right here. I rearranged my tapes this week, so
I was going to do that, then I
did something else. Yeah. Only thing I miss a lot of Black Twilight Circle tapes. I think I have 10 or so, and I can't find only one or two. Oh. So, but it's the box.
Yeah, it's
really small, and it's like a hard cardboard, and it's very hard to get the lid off. Okay. And then you have all this information on the side of the lid.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
Which I don't know. Maybe it's meant to look like it's from 1992 or something. Then they did a really good job. And it just has like 7 tapes in it. So.
And it's all demo material, right?
Yeah, and rehearsals, promo tape. I haven't listened to them, but with listening to this tape on my stereo, and it's also not a square because it doesn't fit this. I discovered that my tape deck plays pretty okay, so I will put it on. And I have number 267 of 500 with a satanic logo. Yeah, I think it looks silly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that put the info on the artwork.
These as well, I took a gamble and ordered 20 copies, and they were all gone before it was released. So.
Okay. Well, people were waiting for it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
The only thing except for Lugubrum, and I'm not making it easy for myself. The only thing I've been listening to, I have to show it, is this. I'll try it. I'll try.
What's it called?
It's called Kleuterhennavoion with Honan Blade, I think. It is insane. It's the most stupid title or the most stupid band name I ever heard. Well, not stupid, but most unpronounceable. Looking at the cover, it is very. Sorry, start playing. It looks very Beharit, and the sound also reminded me of that. It's an EP, soon to be released on vinyl by Urfaust Records and cassette by Analog Ragnarok. I don't know, the artwork kind of grabbed me. It was very colorful. The logo grabbed me, and then with that name. But the sound also, it has keys. It has, of course, it's black metal, but yeah, it has that raspy sound that Beharit also has. I haven't listened to it too much, but it convinced me enough to just get the record, which is coming in. I don't know. It was a good EP. One of the better ones I heard in a while. So that and Hate Forest, the new one, which also grew on me. It's called Hour of the Centaur. This one.
Yeah.
Which I had to scramble to get. It's out on. I think it's Yeah, Season of Mist, I think. Well, no, Osmos. I'm sorry.
Osmose Records, Osmose
Uh,
Productions.
it's selling out everywhere very fast. So,
Yeah,
of course, it is their comeback record after a lot of years. So
yeah.
that's also one that I've played a few times and decided to get with because of the sound. It is very, yeah, it's very forward, brutal, not brutal, brutal's for that one, but a very forward, dense, thick. It keeps on going. So yeah,
Mm.
kind of surprised me in a way that was good enough to work
Yeah.
together with.
I've been listening to some offers from bands to the label. Will you please release our CD? Will you do vinyl for us? Stuff like that. So it's really funny. The bands from Thailand and what's not. They're English. You probably know it.
Yeah.
It's very, yeah. It's
Since
funny.
since we released Mass 4 from Amon-Ra, I think in 2007, the the incredible slew of bands that contact us that are just Amon-Ra 2 is it's beyond comprehension. Just one after the other. It's weird what you sometimes get, and it's
Mm.
yeah. I think it's a good thing that bands profile themselves as you should hear us. We are we're top of the line, but it's I don't think we ever got a band of an email. Just one that solicited and then said, okay,
Okay.
we're going to do this. I don't think we ever
Oh,
had.
I have a lot of those.
Yeah. Chagos
Like
also.
Chagor, Meslantea as well.
Yeah.
The split from Witte Wieven and Reiziger.
Oh yeah.
Because I already knew Nicky from Laster, who is the sole member of Reiziger.
Okay.
Nevel, which is Wessel from Laster. So it's a lot of people in the same crowd.
Yeah.
It's very much the Dutch scene that mail me a lot. So,
Okay. Yeah, I think for hypertension, if you look at the catalog, it's pretty diverse. But in mind of the people we have two kind of audiences. We have Amra, I think, and we have Cocaine Fizz, and there's no difference.
yeah.
So I think that's how the older folks see Amra, the newer folks see Cocaine Fizz. The last thing I listened, and I was actually waiting for it. One is the Frenolet, the new one, which is coming out soon. The other one is the Inquisitor, another blackened death metal band, if you will. It seems they are a bit more futuristic on this one, artwork wise, but that should promise to be another great full length, and it's coming out of February. So I think that will be another one that will be on the end of the year list for sure. For sure, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I've been packing these.
There we go. Pretty excited for that one.
I think only 25 tote bags. So the 25 first people who ordered have a tote bag. And now I have to see how I hold it. Like this.
Okay.
So this is the limited edition with the slipcase.
Yeah.
Only outdirt is real.
What's out this?
I don't know if it's a secret.
I think they
But
because
I won't reveal it. Maybe Jeroen will, because he's been at Welcome at the AA.
okay.
And he's also doing an interview with Def Sparrow next week.
I was
And he has
wondering.
a few interviews. But I asked him today, should I keep it like this or like this? Because the record comes out at the left side.
Yeah.
Because then you have the front cover
Yeah.
right before you. So this is the limited edition. Front cover, back cover, and the limited aspect is in the slipcase, which is debossed.
Mine.
And it's a colored vinyl. Which, I don't know if you can see it. It has a little bit of color in it.
Yeah.
The box set slightly gold. But I thought it was going to be this bit of white, yellow, creamy color, non-transparent, but
Looks cool. I was
yeah,
wondering.
it's very cool, and you have these
Yeah.
pictures of the sister of Jeroen, and you have the 12-page, 12-inch booklet with it's very cool pictures.
Great looking. Great
This is
looking.
the picture of Erde, which is just Erde is Earth. Yeah. And then you have this one. Wait. This one he explained in an interview already.
Yeah.
So it's some sort of shed, which is a bit off.
Mhm.
And it's from the track trok, which is dialect for wind. Just it's windy. The wind is blowing. It's trekt hier, trok. So the shed is all pushed aside, and it's also a sort of a hidden tribute to the first Borgnagar album, which has the shed on it. So it's full of those little details that nobody will get if you've made the album yourself.
Aldi did a quite extensive interview with them. I think.
Yeah, that's where he explained this. Didn't he explain this in that interview?
Maybe, but I forgot. Shout out.
Oudert is dialect for aldert, which means everything dies.
Yeah.
And it's kind of Roundup. You know Roundup from it's called the Big Chemical Farm, the product
it wasn't
from Monsanto.
Yeah.
Roundup from Monsanto, which is forbidden except when you're a professional farmer, which kills everything.
And then the circle is round again. Professional farmer. We started with farmers. We end with farmers. It seems like we're professionals at this point. Yeah. For next time, I was wondering if Peter was going to be on Welcome to the AA. So he's doing a podcast already. We talked about asking him for our little thing. I don't know how. Maybe we should not talk about their new record, but we'll see. Is that something we're still down for? Asking you?
Let's check with him.
Okay.
Let's check with him. And
otherwise,
if he thinks it's too much,
that's what I was wondering.
Then you give me a band to discover, because there's a lot of bands going from me to you, like Psy and then Lugubrum maybe, and now you give me a band I don't know.
Maybe if Peter doesn't want to do it, or like you said, he has a lot of food on his table, we'll dive into some which I think highlights of raw black metal, since that's a scene you are not too much into, and I'm rediscovering some shit. So yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll contact you and then go from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. Farmers, thank you very much. And we'll see you when we see you. Ciao.
Ciao.